and welcome back to Marine Month in Canada. My name is Michelle Chaput, and I'm joining you from Canadian Geographic Education in partnership with the Canadian Marine Careers Foundation to bring you the 2024 Marine Month in Canada program. So this program's designed to give you a behind-the-scenes look at all things marine, including volunteer and employment opportunities with a number of different organizations that work to ensure Canada's waters are safe and accessible and celebrated and protected. So thank you so much to everyone who's joining us live for this presentation. We hope you enjoy the Marine Month program and that you're enjoying all the presentations that have happened so far. For our teachers that are watching, I'd like to share a reminder to put your class nickname in the chat so that you can be entered into our draw for $500 for your school so that you can put some money towards even more learning and classroom engagement. And for students in the audience, you know the drill. Stay tuned until the end of the presentation for the question and answer period with our presenter and a quick Kahoot quiz to review some important aspects that we cover in the presentation today. To join the Kahoot quiz, you can join here at kahoot.it with the pin 319084, and I'll post that again at the end of the presentation. So without further delay, I'm pleased to introduce our special guest today, Lieutenant Commander Lucas Pang. Lucas is a Marine Systems Engineer for the Royal Canadian Navy, and he has some great stories and information to share with us today. So welcome, Lucas. It's great to have you. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Michelle. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a great day here in Ottawa, a nice fall day.
That's right. The leaves are falling.
They are. I think times are changing for real now. I think although those summer temperatures are winding down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in Ottawa. Can you tell me where you're tuning in from for today?
Yeah, so I'm also in Ottawa, which is the headquarters for the Canadian Armed Forces. I'm with the Royal Canadian Navy. So we are located also across the country. Our main bases for the Navy are located in Victoria, BC, out on the west coast, and also in Halifax, Nova Scotia, out on the east coast. And throughout each province, we have reserve units as well. Here's a quick snapshot of them. But yeah, most major cities will have a reserve unit where the Royal Canadian Reservists all work on.
Well, the first question that I always ask to our presenters in Marine Month is if they can tell us a little bit more about their organization. So could you tell us a few more details about what the Navy is responsible for, and also a little bit more about your role as a marine engineer?
So actually, I have a video to show.
All right. Okay, let's start with the video.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's what our Navy does. We go and make the world a safer place. We go to all the oceans in the world, make sure all the different shipping lanes are safe, all the ships that go around the world bringing goods from different countries, sometimes to Canada and sometimes from Canada to other places, which helps our economy. And also, we also have to help Canadians. At the end of the day we have to make sure that Canadians are safe at home and abroad. We do that by mainly right now fighting forest fires. Not so much this year, but last year. And we also get to help Canadians to fight flooding in Sandbag as well. And internationally, in other parts of the country that may not be safe anymore, we help to bring them back home when they're in trouble. So, as a marine engineering systems officer, so I'm uh, I'm the one that's in charge of the ship when there's a mechanical problem. So here is an engine that has been removed from the ship. As you imagine, that it's a very large engine that is usually sitting in the very bottom of the ship, but sometimes we have to repair them. And we hoist them up through 4 different decks to get it out of the ship for repair. So I coordinate the repairs and maintenance of the equipment. So things like the engines, power generation, like for electricity. We also little known things like keeping the heat and air conditioning, things like fresh water, things like making sure the toilets flush every day. So these are very mundane things, but on a ship, it's a little city that's all by itself in the middle of an ocean. So all these things has to work so that our sailors can do their everyday work. So that's what marine systems engineers do, and making sure the lights stay on and making sure we're floating and moving.
Very critical work.
Yeah.
So could you tell me a little bit more about your own personal journey into
Mm.
becoming a marine systems engineer and what sort of motivated you to join the Navy?
So I grew up in Winnipeg, in Manitoba. It's the furthest away from our oceans you can be. Really, it's actually in the center of the continent. So you can imagine my experience with water is pretty low. But one day my friend decided to join the cadets program, the naval cadets, and he asked me if I want to come, and I said, yeah, okay. So I went and did that for a year, and then left after that. But it planted that seed in my mind to when I decided to what career I want to do after university, and I saw a job ad on the government website, and they're hiring engineers for the Navy, and I said, hey, why not give it a try? But I had a choice. I can choose the Air Force or the Navy or the Army. And because of my cadet experience, I decided to join the Navy and go see the world. And that's how I got into the marine engineering world.
Well, that's I think that's pretty applicable to some of our audience members today. Not being 100% certain about where you are right now in terms of decision making about your future, and just kind of exploring what opportunities are out there. So
That's right. Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit more about a typical day for you?
Yeah. So a typical day at sea is actually very mundane. So there are things like that everyone has to do every day, right? We eat, we sleep, we have fun, we work, obviously. So a large portion of our day is spent actually eating and making sure our beds are made, doing those everyday mundane things. But when we're not doing those mundane things, the work part is the different part of the job. Being on a ship, doing being at sea has its challenges. The sea is never still; it's always moving, and it's you have equipment running all the time that has to work, and we have to make sure that we are trained. So a large part of it is maintaining our proficiency in what we do. So for me, for my department as an engineer, where we have emergencies at sea, we can go and have to fight a fire. If there's water coming into the ship for whatever reason, we have to know how to stop a flood. Other things like we do exercises out at sea, like right here. These are American ships. There's an aircraft carrier right in the middle there. We do exercises with our allies and make sure that we are current in our skills to make sure that we can work together if we need to ever do an operation with our partners.
Mhm. For sure. I mean, the waters are global after all, so it makes sense to work with our worldly partners.
The Pacific Ocean is a big ocean. It is much bigger than anyone would even think, and it's not until you actually travel on an ocean on a ship that you realize how big those oceans are.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine for sure. So speaking of the large ocean, is there like a typical uh, frequency of deployments or length of time that you're on a ship?
So usually we're assigned to the ship for about 2 years at a time. We go to sea when the ship goes to sea. So that means sometimes the ship goes on a long deployment, which could be up to 6 months. And sometimes if it's a ship that is getting close to doing a refit, then you do shorter sails around local waters, do patrols. Um, we call them sovereignty patrols, or we can do fishery patrols, like make sure our fishermen are all fishing what they're supposed to do. We do exercises that are either with our own ships or with the ships of our allies. So yeah, it's very varied. So it could be 1 week or it could be up to 6 months.
Okay. But you would have that expectation in advance, right? Like you know it's kind of what you're getting yourself into.
Absolutely, because we know our ship, and the ship has a program that's set already. So we know at least a year in advance what the ship's
Okay.
gonna where the ship's gonna go, what's gonna do.
Okay. And so speaking of ships, can you describe the different types or the different classes of ships within the Navy?
So right now we have 5 classes of ship. Our main, what we call the workhorse of the Navy right now, is the Halifax class frigates, right in the top. They're about 30 years old now, and they're getting ready to be replaced by our new class of ships, probably in about 10 years. The Harry the Wolf class is our icebreakers. It's the brand new class of ships. The oldest one is only 3 years old, Harry the Wolf. It goes up to the Arctic to make sure that we conduct our sovereignty in the region where there could be first year sea ice. The third one here is the Kingston class maritime coastal defense vessel. They also have a mine clearing capability. So they conduct surveillance along coastlines mainly, and also we use them for training as well. We have the submarine, so the Victoria class patrol submarine, 4 of them, and they are operating under the water to make sure that our allies are current with their submarine anti-submarine capabilities, and also to conduct surveillance. And last but not least, we have our replenishment vessel. That's the Asterix. We're also building 2 new ones as well to complement the Asterix. So when the joint support ship come online in about 5 years, we'll have a total of 3 support ships. One that is not on here is the one that has been retired, and it's the one that I served on the most. It's the Iroquois class vessel, and it's a special place in my heart for that one because
Yeah.
the ship that I trained on. But alas, it had reached the end of life, and the ship is now a reef off the coast of BC.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Can I ask out of curiosity, have you yourself been on a submarine?
I have had a tour on a submarine once. I have not sailed on one, but it is not for everyone. It is
Yeah.
very small place, and I'm not a large person. I'm a rather small person, and I have trouble getting around, not hitting my head on things.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like it would be such a out of typical experience, just yeah, that sort of feeling of confinement and then knowing that there's a certain amount of water above you at all times.
That's right.
So can you give us a little bit more maybe some fun insights or some stories about life on board?
Yeah. So we go out to sea and we have to do a job, but it's doesn't mean that we can't have fun. So we do when we try when there's space in the program for the ship, we try to incorporate fun into our at sea life. So here it's a picture of my last ship had a band, so they sometimes get together and provide some entertainment for us. Usually at the end of the day when everyone's finished their hard work and when it's time to relax a little bit. So it's there are different things we do. We can go swimming. It's different swimming in the ocean than swimming at a beach because there's
Yes.
always a current in the ocean, and the amount of water that's under you is just amazing. So swimming in the ocean is sometimes fun. Not for everyone, but you have to be a pretty good swimmer to swim in the ocean. We also do things on the flight deck. So there's a flight deck for the helicopter in the back of the ship. We call it the Steel Beach. Sometimes we do barbecues on board. We like there. This is off of the coast of Hawaii. We're grilling a couple of pigs in there and some steak in there. So we try to have fun when we can, and it's such an important component of life at sea, to have that social aspect because of what we do, because of the watch rotations that we use. That sometimes you just don't see certain people because they are on different watches than you, and you go to sleep when they're working. So it's an opportunity to get everybody together to socialize and sort of talk about different things that are not work.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's with all of the nature of the work on board, it's nice to have like a really exciting meal to look forward to, or some downtime
Right.
with your friends to be able to connect, for sure.
Yeah. Food is definitely the biggest part. That's a picture of us swimming. But yeah, food, it's so important. It's a morale booster when you're out at sea for weeks on end, and you look forward to dinner, and you have great cooks on board who does many different things with chicken that you can uh, it's just fantastic at the end of the day.
There's some creativity happening.
They are very creative cooks, let me tell you.
All right, so maybe shifting away from the really fun sort of aspects of the work to, I guess, the more serious nature. Can you tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about perhaps a mission or a deployment that really
Mhm.
stuck with you, or that
Yeah,
something interesting happened?
yeah. So I was a trainee when we were visiting Vancouver one time, and Vancouver Harbor. I don't know if anyone's from Vancouver right now, and it's a fairly open harbor, but there's a small section where the Lions Gate Bridge runs across from Stanley Park into North Vancouver. So we were in a training vessel at the time, which was parked at Burrard Pier, which is that little white square to the right in North Vancouver there. I remember the senior staff were all off to do something, and they just left all the junior staff on board. And I was the engineering trainee, and I remember my buddy Will was the captain at the time. We call him the officer in charge of the boat, and we were having lunch, and then all of a sudden Will came down to tell me, hey, engines. Engines is the nickname we give to the engineer. Hey, engines, we got a SAR call. We got to go. And I told Will, what do you mean we got to go? All the staff are gone. And he said, no, it's there's a ship out out further past the Golden Gate Bridge, and they need help. Like, oh, okay, I guess we go, right? So let go of the lines, and we got everyone up to get the ship going. Um, because of the narrow channel there's speed restrictions in the harbor. But in certain situations, when there are emergencies, we're allowed to exceed it.
Hmm.
Making sure we're still safe, that everyone else is safe. So we called Vancouver harbor master and say we're coming out of the harbor and we're going full speed. And they said, Roger. So we headed out the harbor, got out to the open water there, just north of English Bay. And sure enough, there was a small speedboat that was sinking. It was halfway in the water, and we saw like two people in the water. And thank God they have life jackets on. And it's very important. Make sure you have life jackets on those boats because you don't know what's going to
Always.
happen.
Mhm.
Usually, what happens out there is there are logs. There's logging in the northern part of BC, so some of those logs fall off the ships and they float down toward with the current. So some boats don't see them and they run over them and then damage the boat.
Mhm. Mhm.
So sure enough, these people are in the water. So we made our way toward them. But the harbor security boat were kind of on the way as well. And theirs is a smaller boat, so it's more suitable for picking up people in the water. So we ended up standing by and making sure that if they need something, that we're there to assist them. And they pull them on the water. And so we said, hey, this is one of the things that we're supposed to do. We help people on the seas, and it's actually one of the law of the sea to render assistance when somebody calls for help, and this is a law that we have to abide by, no matter what we do. So that's one of the stories that I have, and out of many other stories
One
that
of many, yeah.
was quite interesting in my memory.
Well, I would imagine there's a certain level of gratification that goes into helping
Mhm.
people who are in distress and making sure that the waters are kept safe. Can you cover a few other sort of rewarding aspects of being a member of the Navy?
Yeah. So it's not until you join the Navy that you realize that you're actually joining a family, and it's true between the Air Force and the Army. Like I have friends in the Army as well, and we all call each other brothers and sisters. It's quite the big family that you join, and some of them become your lifelong friends. I have friends who are right now in Victoria because they're on different postings, and then I'll meet up with them in a few years. Either I move out there or they move back to Ottawa or whichever place. So we always have these friendships that are always around with us. That when you need help, that you can always call these friends to help you. But the other big thing about being in the Navy is that you do see the world. Like for example, this is Mexico. Here's Hong Kong that I've been to. Before I think we saw San Francisco. So we're not lying when we say, hey, you join the Navy, you see the world. You really do see the world, and it could be really really far off places, places that you never thought you'd go. Here's Hawaii. That's the Arizona Monument. I've been to an island that's at the end of the Aleutian chain. So in Alaska, right? There's a part of Alaska that goes out in the Bering
Yes.
Strait up in the North Pacific, and this is we're about 100 miles from Russia, and this is that's an island that used to be used by the Americans as a base back in the Cold War. But now we use it to launch missions for fishery patrols of the Pacific, make sure all the fishermen are using the right equipment. So, that is one place that is probably the remotest place I wouldn't even imagine I would ever go to. And so here's San Diego. It's a port that we go to a lot in the States, especially on the West Coast. So yeah, traveling is a great. If you love to travel, this is definitely one of the perks of being in the Navy. When we go into a port, you usually have a day or two to relax and kind of see the sights.
So I'm just keeping an eye on time. We're getting close to the end of our half an hour mark. So, is there any last message or maybe piece of advice that you'd like to share with young people in our audience today?
So it's simple. You got to be adventurous. You have to, taking the first step is always the hardest thing to do because you always wonder, hey, should I do this or not? But if you be adventurous and just go and try it, that is the thing that I think I can pass on to, especially younger people when you're not sure. trying new things. It's always you expand your horizon, you meet new people, you learn a bit about yourself in the end as well.
And I think we have a QR code on screen here for
Yeah.
anyone who wants to learn a little bit more.
Yeah, if you're interested about the Navy, that takes you to a form online that you can fill out. That will put you in contact with one of my recruiters. You can ask them any questions about the Navy. If you're interested in specific trades, or if you're interested about joining the Navy, yeah, it's a great place to start. No obligations whatsoever. It's just starting a conversation, and who knows where it will lead.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lucas. This is we've learned a lot in our half an hour here together. So we're going to pass to the question and answer session. And then after that, we're going to bring up our Kahoot game. So anyone who's watching, you can add questions in the chat now, and I can pass them on to Lucas. I'll keep an eye out for them. And anyone who wants to play the Kahoot game, I'll just bring up the code on screen here for you to do that. And you can join while we're just asking a few last questions to Lucas. So the first question I have for you, Lucas, is specific to our older students in the audience. Are there any opportunities that would be available to like a high school student that's graduating now, that's considering what to do in terms of joining the Navy?
Yeah, we have a new program that we started about 2 years ago now, that allows you to kind of try the Navy. So we recognize that it's a big step to take. You're joining a military. When you join the Navy, that you may not be sure to make the commitment. So we decided to start a program that are geared toward younger people, that's short term. It's a year-long, what we call the Naval Experience Program. So you experience what it's like to go to sea, what it's like to work on a ship. You start out with doing basic training, because we all have to do basic training.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do some basic naval training, like fighting fires and fighting floods, which is actually really fun when you do the training. And then you're assigned to a ship wherever in the world it may be. So you don't know what that ship will be until you go to the program. And there's been ones that are coming from Iceland, out in Asia, because we're out there a lot now. And you get to experience a few weeks at sea when it's transiting somewhere, and you get to learn about the different trades that are on the ship, like what they do, and for you really to decide, if this could be something for you to do.
And that's the Naval Experiences Program?
Yep, the Naval Experience Program, NEP.
And I see there's still some people joining, so I'll just give a few more seconds. There is a second question here, and it's, do you receive training at regular intervals throughout your career?
Yeah, so the work that we do is different as we progress in our careers. So for myself, the first thing to learn is to become technically proficient. So I have to learn about all the systems on the ship, which is a lot. It's like if anyone actually watches Star Trek, or you have Scotty on the ship who Captain Kirk will ask, "Hey Scotty, we got to go faster, right?" Scotty knows every little part of the ship, and that's really what I do. I have to know every single valve, every single pipe that is on the ship. But then as you progress in your career, you get more experience. It's less important about the technical side, more important about leadership, the management side. So we get courses to help us develop those skills, to become what we call an institutional leader, to make sure that we can keep the organization functioning and that move in the right direction. So yeah, there's different levels of training as you go, depending on your career path as well. Which makes the job very, very interesting. Like you're not stuck doing the same work, for 20, 25 years.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm interested, I tell ya. It sounds really like an experience that offers something to everyone, regardless of your your sort of level of skills or familiarity with, anything related to water really before you sign up. So thank you again for answering those questions and for sharing all the info that you did. We are at the half-hour mark, so we're going to launch our Kahoot game. So get set, everyone. We've got 4 questions for you today. And the first question is, how many different classes of ships are there in the Navy?
It's more than 2.
Great job. 5 classes of ships, not counting the one that's, I guess, out of commission now.
The reef, yeah.
The reef. All right. Who's in the lead? We've got Smooth Chicken. Question number 2. In what cities is the Navy located?
I wish it's in Tofino. Tofino is a beautiful, beautiful town out in BC.
And the answer is Victoria and Halifax. Oh, people are paying attention. Good job, everybody. Smooth Chicken holds first place. All right. Question 3. Who is the Navy's biggest international partner? Good job. The US. Oh, clinching first place. Last question. Which of the following is a primary responsibility of the Navy? Oh, the picture on screen here is actually that's not of the Navy. That's of one of our other partners at the Coast Guard.
Search and rescue is everyone's job.
Yes. And the answer is all of the above. So supporting our economy, protecting Canadians, and making sure the world is a safe place. So let's see the podium. We've got Magic Panther in 3rd, Fuzzy Wallaby in 2nd, and Smooth Chicken in 1st place. Great job, everyone. So we're just at the end of the program for today. So I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in live. We have a few more presentations coming up tomorrow and next week to wrap up Marine Month. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for those. Thank you very much, Lucas, for a wonderful presentation today and for really sharing all those great stories and information with the young people tuning in. I'd also like to give a shout out to our friends at the Canadian Marine Careers Foundation again. Thank you very much to them for supporting the Marine Month program. If anyone in the audience today has questions about, the diversity of opportunities available within the sector, or if you'd like to see a job board or different educational resources, you can head to the Imagine Marine website posted here. And then, of course, we have the Canadian Geographic Education website that has all of our sort of in-classroom activities that you can use to explore some of the topics covered in the presentations in a little more detail. So I'm going to let you get back to your busy schedule. I'm sure there's lots of work that's waiting
work.
to come back to it.
I'd rather do this all day, though.
Yeah. I'm with you. We speak to students quite a bit in our work too, and it's always a really rewarding aspect of it.
For sure.
All right. Well, I'll wish you a great day, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Michelle.